Today is going to be the sink or swim economy. But what does this actually look like for real people? People trying to navigate this market right now. Let me show you 3 case studies, okay? I want to share with you 3 case studies that I came across and give you guys some real stories here. For some people, they're going to win. Some people, they're not. This segment that we're going to talk about now is on real stories, real people, real lessons, so that we can learn from this and decide how we're going to move forward. Because the data only tells part of the story, but the people show you what is actually happening and what it actually feels like, okay? I got a case story on a gentleman by the name of Jay Mandel, 48 years old, a Columbia University graduate, Ivy League, has a master's degree, former vice president at Mastercard, leading social media, also worked at IBM. Today, he is delivering for Uber Eats. That's what he's doing. Today, he's delivering for Uber Eats. Let me tell you how he got there. His therapist suggested gig work, said it would help him see how others live. He resisted it for months, talked to friends. They told him, you shouldn't have to resort to this. Eventually, he made his first delivery in October. Here's what he said about the experience. He says, I never thought I'd struggle as much as I have financially. And it feels like more of my friends than not are in my situation. Now, he says, I want you to hear this. This is what he said. He says, the unemployment numbers don't capture people like me who do gig work. That's what he said. The unemployment numbers do not capture people like me who do gig work. That is important, guys. When you see that 4.4% unemployment number, it does not count for the former Mastercard VP who's delivering food. It does not count the Columbia MBA driving around in an Uber. So the lesson here is that credentials do not guarantee security. A master's degree and a Fortune 500 VP title did not protect him from this market. I want you guys to type J in the chat if this story hits a little bit different. Type J in the chat, okay? Let's go to case study number 2. Here's another one that I came across. Aman Guyo, 26 years old. He's from India. He was here on a F1 visa, working as an AI product manager. 6 months into his job, he got laid off. Now, here's the part that matters. Because of his visa status, he had 90 days to find a job or leave the country. 90 days. So the clock started ticking. You guys remember about the visa situation where Trump, signed an executive order on what was going on in these visas and so forth. He only had 90 days. A lot of tech companies basically told their employees, stop traveling. You might get stuck. Don't go back home. All that sort of stuff, right? Big chaos, big fallout from it a couple months ago. But here's what Jay Guyo did, or here's what Guyo did. Excuse me. I'm thinking of Jay from the first case study, but this is Aman Guyo. Aman. So after he got laid off, because of his visa status, he had 90 days to find a new job or leave the country. Step 1, what he did was he bought a $50 book called Decode and Conquer by Lewis Lynn. It is a product management interview guide. Step 2, he says by emailing the author his receipt, he got access to a Slack community with over 2,000 members. Current PMs, aspiring PMs, hiring managers at Microsoft, Amazon, Google. Step 3, he did dozens of mock interviews with people in that community. Some were senior staff at big tech, some were actual hiring managers. Step 4, when he applied to T-Mobile, a friend referred him for 2 roles. He did not hear back on those, but there was a 3rd role, one that he forgot to put the referral name on. That is the one that called him back. Here's what he realized. He said referrals have become highly overrated. Finding a way to connect directly with the recruiter or hiring manager can be a game changer. So what did he do? He used a tool called hunter.io. It finds email addresses. He looked up the hiring manager's email, sent a short message expressing interest. Shortly after, the hiring manager connected him to the recruiter. The result, 60 days after getting laid off, he landed a dream job, an associate product manager role at T-Mobile. 90-day clock, 60-day solution. That's the lesson. Okay? So in a competitive market, resourcefulness beats credentials. A $50 investment in strategic outreach beats hundreds of applications. I want you guys to type 90 days in the chat if you're impressed with that turnaround. Okay? Type it in the chat. This is Aman's situation is really what strategic positioning is really about. And also having a fire under you as well. Man had 90 days to leave the country. He had 90 days to leave the country. When you have that short amount of time, that short amount of window, you have your back against the wall, you typically are able to deliver results. Many times people aren't having success because they don't have their back against the wall. They don't have anything that they need to just push through to cause them the breakthrough. Figure what that is out, and you will see the results that you come up with. Let's talk about case study number 3. This is going to be a good one too, okay? This is about Shia Tang, 34 years old, manager at DoorDash. Came across her article published on Business Insider this morning. She was making $390,000 a year, had a strong upward trajectory in her career, continued room to grow. She quit her job, left to start a silk women's wear brand. Here's what she said. She said, when I was honest with myself, my heart wasn't in it. I still constantly ask myself if I made a huge mistake, but I don't want to look back and think that I climbed the wrong mountain. Should I climb the wrong mountain? Sometimes the sink or swim decision is voluntary. She saw the writing on the wall. Climbing someone else's ladder was not the path for her, so she chose to build her own. That's what she chose to do. Now let me connect these 3 stories. You got Jay is surviving in the gig economy, right? You got Aman. He sprinted to a new role, had the fire under his ass. Yet Shia, she bet on herself. 3 different people, 3 different strategies, all responding to the same market reality. The lesson is there is not one right answer, but there is a wrong approach. And the wrong approach is waiting. The wrong approach is hoping things go back to normal. The wrong approach is assuming that your credentials will protect you. That is the wrong approach, because it won't. Because I'm about to tell you a story that flips the entire script. Basically on everything that you think you know about AI and job interviews. Okay? I want to introduce you to someone. 29 years old, senior software engineer, worked at Google, Amazon, Splunk, and now at Salesforce. His name is Akash. Okay? Let's call him Akash. Got a good background. Worked for a lot of tech companies. Big tech companies too. This guy knows what he's doing. It's been 8 years. He spent 8 years in big tech. So in 2024, he interviewed at a Silicon Valley startup. He expected the traditional coding challenges, data structures and algorithms, the usual. That is not what happened. They gave him a huge code file and asked him to debug it to find a problem. Then they said something that surprised him. They said, you can use AI assistants. Here's what he did. He ignored the invitation, thought he was supposed to do it himself, spent a lot of time on a problem and could not solve it. He failed the interview. Here's what he said about it. He says, that was an eye-opener for me about AI's new role in this field. Now, he says, I need you to understand what just happened. Okay? Go back to the story. My man says typically in his interviews that he was previously doing, they talked about data structures. He had to know about data structures. He had to know about all this sort of stuff, algorithms, traditional coding challenges, and that's what he was prepared for. They asked him to debug a file, find the problem. They said you can use an AI assistant. He ignored the AI assistant. He ignored using it. He failed the interview. It was an eye-opener for him. Here's the thing. He did not fail because he was not smart enough. He did not fail because he lacked experience. He failed because he did not use AI when it was allowed, when it was expected, when it was required. The rules changed, guys. And he didn't know it. I want you guys to type rules in the chat if that surprises you. Type rules in the chat. Crazy, huh? My man Topaz says prideful. Prideful dummy. I see y'all chats moving. I see y'all typing in the chat. Let me tell you what he learned. He said, if I were interviewing today, I position myself as a hybrid engineer. Don't just be a pure coder or just a prompt engineer. Be the bridge. Be the bridge. That's what he said. That is the new competitive advantage. Not pure technical skill, not pure AI prompting, the combination. He also said this, the hybrid understanding of these technologies is what makes you valuable. Now, you might be thinking, I'm not a software engineer, Antoine. This doesn't apply to me, Antoine. You are wrong, because it applies to everyone. It applies to everyone. You may not be a software engineer, but it applies to everyone. You may be a sales professional. You may be a marketing professional. It applies to everyone. I want to show you someone else, another coder, another case study that I came across. Zivy Arnovich, Business Insider article this morning as well. Product manager at Meta, no technical background, says code is, quote, terrifying. That's what he said. In mid-2024, he discovered AI coding tools. Here's what he said. He said, it felt like I was handed superpowers. Now he uses tools like Cursor to build features, then hands the code to developers for final review. A product manager, no technical background, building features. Here is his prediction. He says, everyone's going to become a builder. Titles and responsibilities are likely to collapse. The walls between roles are crumbling, and LinkedIn has got the message. They replaced their associate product manager program with an associate product builder track, teaching new hires to code, to design, and to product manage. So the signal is clear, guys. Single skill specialists are out, hybrid professionals are in. Now I got one more story for you guys, because this one shows you what is possible. Okay? A branding consultant in her early 50s, based in the Netherlands, runs a solo consultancy. She built 17 custom GPTs to run her business. I had a gentleman in the chat, Big Suggs, came on our Patreon call this weekend. Big Suggs built two GPTs this past weekend himself. Showed them to us too. But this lady, she runs a solo consulting company. She built 17 custom GPTs to run her business. She built a market researcher, a sales call analyst, a proposal writer, a video script writer. But here's the twist. She built a Steve Jobs GPT as her mentor. She spent 40 hours training it, uploaded transcripts from his interviews, his product launches, how he explained strategy, how he executed. Now, when she is stuck on business decisions, she brainstorms with her Steve Jobs GPT. But here's what she learned. She says, you cannot ask AI, what do you think? Because AI wants to please you. It will just agree. Instead, she asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good is this idea? And then she asks, what will make it a 10? That is when it starts drawing on everything that she's trained it with. Her words. AI by itself is powerful, but what makes it truly magical is when we combine our expertise and skills with it. AI is the multiplier. It amplifies what you already bring. The question is are you learning to use it? But also, do me a favor. Today's show gave you some clarity. The Patreon does go deeper. We have a weekly live Q&A. We also have resume templates. We have salary negotiation scripts. We have certification playbooks. We have a great community of individuals who are builders. Also, if you cannot catch the live show every single morning, Monday through Friday, subscribe to our newsletter. You should be subscribed to our newsletter anyway, because you get a full recap of everything that we've covered today. The data, the stories, the strategies, delivered to your inbox every single weekday, Monday through Friday. Link is in the description, okay? If this is your first time here on the Daily Climb, welcome. Welcome to the Daily Climb. All right? Do me a favor and hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. We basically translate business news into career strategy. Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central. All right?